At least 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks into me noticing a little fruit there. What's up guys, and welcome to another episode of El Jardín Perdido. Today we're planting from a store-bought pineapple. Alright guys, so I'll show it in a second here, but I'm sure across the internet you've seen where people just pull off the top of a pineapple and they either put it straight in the dirt or sprout it in water. Well, I did that, and I've been doing that for many years here in Houston without much luck. My problem is, for the longest time, I've been putting things into the ground, hoping I could protect them, frost protect them, whatever, but it never quite works out. So the past couple of years, I've tried a different approach after I've seen someone have a little luck growing them in pots. Instead of trying to protect them, trying to dig them out of the ground or anything like that. See, my school of thought was always, if I put them in the ground, they can have deeper root systems, they can flourish better, they can retain moisture better, but that's not always the case. That's not always the best approach for large fruit trees, say like the mulberry behind me, or the more finicky pawpaw behind me. That makes perfect sense. But if it's not well adapted, especially, and you have frost in your area, not a great idea. So what I did was I put them in pots. I guess they're at least 10 gallon, maybe more, but I'll show you in a second. But I have two successes. I think I did them at the same time, but I know I overwintered them at least 1 year. So they're probably 2 or so years old, and they're doing really well and they're fruiting. I wanted to do this video now because I have a lot going on in my garden. I'll do a tour sometime soon, but I have quite an ecosystem here. So I have rats, I have possum, I have birds going like crazy. And so I wanted to cover this now because my fear is something might get to these before I do. I've never harvested pineapple. Once they get a little bigger, I'm going to smell them regularly because I guess that's the way you can tell if they're ripe. I don't expect to get them ripe right off the plant, but opposed to the shipped pineapples, I do expect to harvest them a little closer to ripeness. That tingly sensation you get when you eat a pineapple, that's because it's picked too prematurely. Granted, you know, they may be from Hawaii or wherever else, and they're shipping them all the way here. That's the reason for that. That's the reason that you even have access to pineapples. But if I'm growing them myself, I'd like to get them closer to ripeness. I'm one of those people who reacts pretty strongly to that pineapple. I guess it's bromelain, but it has health benefits, but it's just, everything tastes off to me for the entire duration of the day if I even have a pineapple. So most of the time if I do have it, I'm grilling it or heating it. That way it doesn't affect me as much. All right, enough chit chat. Let me show you what we got. So just to show you guys the setup here, it was where I was filming, but we have lots and lots of canopy. So they're not getting direct sunlight, but they look really, really good. We just got a ton of rain, so maybe that's why. I don't know if this looks a little, I mean, it looks very green, but it looks a little bit, I don't know if it's because it's the end and it's, you know, fruited, but to me, I mean, I think it looks pretty good. If you guys grow pineapples, let me know in the comments, but this is just for comparison. This is the size and feels very firm. I think we have quite a little ways to go. This is at least, I think, at least 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks into me noticing a little fruit there. So if we step a few feet over, I'll show you the other one. Looks just about the same shape, lots of greenery, everything looks healthy. The soil's not crazy saturated or anything, and it's about the same size. Looks good though. I'm not going to put it out in direct sun or anything because everything looks, if it's not broken, right, everything looks good. And just for reference, I don't know the pot size, you guys probably do, but it seems to do well in there. And I know eventually when it fruits, that'll die off and put off pups, and I'll use both the crown of this and the pups and propagate more. All right guys, so I was pretty excited about this. Like I said, first time getting pineapples. I wanted to cover this just to make sure it's covered. Hopefully I'll have another video in which we can share this pineapple together. at least a short, and I can give you guys an update. If you're familiar with pineapples, how they grow, let me know in the comments how long I should expect to wait until these are ripened. Also, let me know, other than just by smell, possibly by firmness, just let me know in the comments like how I'm supposed to tell when these guys are ready. Like I said, hopefully I get to them before any of my little garden visitors. All right guys, well that's gonna do it for today's video. As always, thanks for tuning in. Until next time.